And welcome to the brand new episode of the Startup Show, which is a proud presentation of AIS SMUTBI Foundation, that is an Atal Incubation Center, Sikkim University Technology Business Incubation Foundation, and this show has been powered by the Sikkim Chronicle. र आजको पनि यस एपिसोडमा हामीले यस्तो फाउन्डरलाई निम्ताएका छ जसले सायद उहाँको एन्टरप्रेन्योरशिपको स्किलद्वारा कहीँ न कहीँ गएर डिफ्रेन्ट लाइफ्सलाई इम्प्याक्ट अथवा उहाँले थुप्रै पोजिटिभ इम्प्याक्टहरू ल्याइरहनु भएको छ। इनफ्याक्ट लेडिज एन्ड जेन्टलमेन, आज हामीसँग हुनुहुन्छ दि फाउन्डर डोमिनिक स्याङ्बो र उहाँको स्टार्टअपको नाम रहेको छ AIS Bilingual Vitae Pvt.Ltd र उहाँको ब्रान्ड नेम रहेको छ Bilingual Vitae. इनफ्याक्ट द कम्पनी इज अ स्टार्टअप, इनफ्याक्ट द सफ्टवेयर बेस्ड कम्पनी विच इज वर्किङ इन द एजुकेसन स्पेस. सो लेडिज एन्ड जेन्टलमेन, आज उहाँसँग हामी बात मारेर उहाँको यो भेन्चर स्टार्टअपको बारेमा त अवश्य जान्नेछौँ र साथै साथ विल अल्सो ट्राई एन्ड अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द एक्चुअली द स्कोप, द अपर्च्युनिटिज एन्ड अल्सो अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द vision of this wonderful founder who actually runs this startup known as the AIS Bilingual Vitae Pvt.Ltd and of course the brand name Bilingual Vitae. So ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the founder Dominic Sengbo. So Dominic, first of all, welcome to the Startup Show.
Thanks.
So,
nice to be with you.
Okay, so let's talk about your startup. In fact, I already introduced to the audience of the viewers of Sikkim Chronicle that you run a startup known as AIS Bilingual Vitae Pvt.Ltd, and that is basically a software-based company which is working in the education space. So please let our viewers know about your startup and when did you start it, what has been the process so far, and who all are the founders.
Okay, we base ourselves as a SaaS company, right? And we do things differently, quite differently, because we are also solving a complex business model, right? That's what we are doing. So we are in education space, education tech space, and languages to be the niche. So that's how we position ourselves to being today's start and tomorrow's brand. That's how we do it. So until now, 2019 and 2020, we did a pilot, first pilot. So segment was adults, 18 to 30 years. So it was a paid pilot. So we had a revenue of 6.4 million. So it was a good revenue, but something was missing there, right? So and after that, 2021. So pandemic hit, then there was lots of cash flow issues and all. So we had to think, right? So we had to do a second phase pilot too. So our segment was working professionals and skilled professionals. So we had to think a lot. So we need to do a work. At the same time, we are going to make it, we are going to sell it or not, right? So we decided we are going to make it a pro bono. So by ourselves, we did some, and with a few NGOs, one from Sikkim. So we did a pilot with people of different sectors, right? That's how we completed our second phase pilot. And right now we are in the third phase pilot. So our target segment is K-12 market, school students. So we are excited because this time not only Northeast, we also have students from Jharkhand, different persona. The more we learn about different, geography itself is a persona, right? The more we learn about different people, more intelligent the company and the product becomes, and it's good for us. So we are on the process. So idea to business done. Now we are into business to a viable business. So we are in the process there.
Yeah. So basically you are a software-based company and you're working in the education space. I want you to briefly and very comprehensively tell about what kind of software do you guys prepare actually, because that's something which I really want to highlight.
It's a platform. It's a platform, AI driven. So it's a platform both for student and also for teachers and educators, right? So we have built in a way so that the front end and the back end technology becomes seamless for both of them. Right? Like for children, YouTube is so easy, right? You don't have to teach them, right? So if you in education space, so we did in our first and second pilot, we had a beta version, right? So we were on trial, right? So if teachers or administrators struggle to work there, how can we expect school students to work there? And in fact, what we believe is people learn from people, right? So too much of offline, remote learning cannot be the only or the best solution, though we have pandemic going on. But like classroom teaching is so important, no? Because people learn from people. So students, so our product that we build, we make sure that it's classroom friendly, at the same time remote learning and teaching friendly. So we do it in that way. So it's a platform, content driven and AI driven platform.
All right. So how many founders do you have? Are you the only one, or you have other co-founders as well?
Started in year 2014. The idea was Blur, right? So it was only me. So first pilot, it was personality-driven model, and I knew that it's not scalable. So lots of mistakes. We learned from mistakes though.
Absolutely.
And profitability was not that big. Metrics was really poor. But like we came to the incubator, then we got a solid network of mentors, experts, right? So we worked with them. Okay, fine. What are the mistakes that we did? So we had to rectify that. That's how we did. And started as a single founder. But at that time, even in the first pilot, the team was incomplete. So positioning, no? It was very important. So I was not that skilled enough at that moment to break through the personality-driven model and make it much more global, no, business model.
Okay.
So now we have a strong first founding team members. So we are total 6 in total in 6. So Wilbur Lepcha, Shivani Century, and Yogesh Sharma, and we have Chultim Tenjing and Rahul. Right? So one from Meghalaya, all from Sikkim.
Oh, absolutely. So
that's how we started.
So
and there are gaps. We need to fill more. We need more.
All right. So it's been now almost few years now. You are actually working, and then you in fact you also highlighted about the revenue that you have been generating so far, and then you're still working on that part. So was it a bootstrap company that when you started it, or is it still a bootstrap?
Still a bootstrap company. Of course, like in the process, we have got help from like bootstrap friends, family, and people that you know in and around, locals from Sikkim also. They have been a great support to us too, right? We did a pilot, and then how we do rotations and those kind of stuff. But still, it's a bootstrap company. So we are looking ahead. So you know it, right? We had a pitch and those kind of stuff. So it was a practice pitch too. So we are not still ready for VC fund, because ARR, MRR, those kind of stuff. So we are looking at next 18 months. So we are launching in 2022, not sure about the month and the date, but we are of course launching. After the third phase, we are done with third phase, we'll launch the public beta. And we are looking at next 18 months, then we are ready for VC funds. So right now, it's seed. And it's good that we have our incubator. They got selected for seed fund.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the AIS SMUTBI as well when it comes to the contribution to your work or the venture that you have been actually working on right now. So bootstrap is always there. You want VCs in maybe in the next 18 months after that. So how has been the journey so far as a startup founder, as a very, the startup which actually works in the education space right now? So how has been the journey so far?
Actually, I come from an academic background. I've been teaching in college. I was in K-12 sector, like segment teaching, and I was in corporates too. So hardware and software, I've been there for a long time with like corporates I've been working, so in education space. So from there, I got those, interests that's in me. So I've been traveling, I have been traveling to many schools or many higher ed institutions. I've been speaking to educators and all, right? So that's how it happened, right? So now the gap that I felt, like when I was in market, so precisely I have a market string. I wanted to always attain the proficiency level of bilingual proficiency level, right? String proficiency level, both academia and market. So when I was also selling products, like the best products in the market, right? Though I was selling it, but I knew in my heart, in our line, much more can be done if not now, in coming future. And now we have Internet 3, the new Internet. And we are looking at Industry 4.0. So yeah, now is the right time that because timing is very important, right? True. So that's how like slowly it came up, right? As a startup founder. So I have been an entrepreneur and doing small stuffs, small season-based projects. So I've been into coaching and test prep and those kind of segments too.
They are, in fact, the sector that you're working is in education, and there are a lot of software-based companies in the country or maybe in any of the global platform that you can find it out. But what is that unique thing about you? What would be the USP for your company?
See, education tech space is a huge space. There are lots of people doing their job, right? It's a huge space. So we have a space where we work on, and we want to be best there, right? So the USP, if you're talking about USP or as a startup, when it comes to business point of view, market entry barrier, those kind of stuff become very important, right? So our idea itself, or the brand name itself, is the biggest USP that we have, right? Bilingual Vitae. So the idea is 1842, Leonardo da Vinci was the first one who said and who practiced CV, no, curriculum vitae. It's very important, personal life profile.
True.
Right? And 1950s, right? It was first in the world, it was formalized and it was used. So it was like after that, 1980s, it was so important, no? I mean, like without CV, you cannot go in a job interview. True. It was something like that, right? In that time, in that industry times. And later, LinkedIn, right, 2003. LinkedIn, in a different way, they found a way out how they network and how they can best do in the arena of CV, right? And you know, YouTube, right, and other media, other video companies, they were the first one to make video CVs possible, right? And we are right now in the new normal. And next, within a decade, so there's going to be lots of innovations coming on, right? So Industry 4.0, new industries will be created and older ones will die, right? So how do we future-proof, or what do we see when it comes to future tense, right? So within a decade, CV will be incomplete without BV, right? Curriculum vitae would be incomplete without BV, meaning bilingual vitae. It's not only languages, right? You become proficiency in two. You have string proficiency in two, in professional ways, and there are lots. See, bilingualism is a huge space, right? Social bilingualism. In fact, like you, I was the happiest when you started your show, right? You were the first one who felt the need.
True.
Right? And you said, we are going to make this interview
a bilingual one.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody's doing it. Slowly it comes up, right? That doesn't mean that we are Leonardo da Vinci or something like that. Sure. But we are a peanut company doing our job. At least we are happy that we have hit that milestone as a company, starting as a single founder, now as a team and a company, right? So we are happy to achieve that. And at least we are also happy that at least we have put a mark in the story. We are there in the story, right?
So I know, like, to be here at this point of juncture means it might not be that easy that what it actually sees or looks at, means the people look at it actually. So there might be a lot of challenges and struggle as a startup and as a startup founder. So how have you dealt with those challenges in the startup, and what are the challenges that you have identified?
I always do my homework well, right? So when I was an entrepreneur, so I wanted to go to the next level, right? I wanted to be a startup founder. So it was not easy actually. So I did a lot of stuff by myself, but I failed a lot. So I didn't know there was an incubator. So finally, like, I landed up here, so solid network, right? And you work with those professionals who have already experienced being there in the startup world, no? Either biggest acquisition or IPO, right? So there, everything changed for me, right? And it was not easy, right? It's been like around 15 months being here in the incubator. So I had to make a choice. So I had a magic pocket, right? I used to do seasonal-based projects. I was a consultant and I had a local firm, Sikkim-based firm. I had to do small projects, fine. I was happy, right? I had a magic pocket. I had to get sweets coming on. So when I came here, the CEO told me, see, of course, they go through the pitch deck, right?
Yeah.
See, you want to make it big, right? You have to make sacrifices, right? So I said, okay, fine, because if you're going to see globe as a market, you will make a lot of sacrifices. Being a startup first startup founder, first founder, you have to do it. There's no option, There is no substitute to hard work or sacrifices, right? So I had to literally sacrifice that. I had to go back down to zero, and then I had to work from scratch, because I am not a second-time startup founder. If I was a second-time startup founder, okay, fine, I've done it, I know it, I have a good pool of network, I have money too, right? And if I come from that corporate background, from top-level corporate background, okay, I have money, I have network, so I can at least do, it becomes like quite easy. But if you are like building from scratch everything, so it's the biggest challenge. Like for example, you'll not have a good credit score, at least for a year, right? So there are stages, right? So from each and every point, right? So you are broken down, and it depends upon how you are going to rebuild yourself. So that was very important for me. Product, business model, those kind of stuff, 12 critical elements of a success, those things are there. Science part is there. But when it comes to art, you as a founder and team, so it was so difficult for me, right? The team that we have right now, we have a beautiful team, right? In fact, to have this team, it was like so difficult, right? And it took 14 to 15 months for us, for all the team members to align, and have a single sight towards the vision, the mission statement that we have, and how we are going to reach there.
Yeah, when you spoke about the word vision, I would really want to add up the question related to that. Despite challenges and circumstances, you have come so far to at this point. So where do you see yourself in the next maybe few years, maybe say 5 years? Where do you see yourself as a company, as a founder?
You have made a choice, because we had an option. We were going to start with from Tier 1 cities or not. So we decided we were going to start from Northeast, right? Sikkim as the beachhead. So next 18 months, we are looking at expanding to the entire Northeast, and in next 5 years, pan-India, right? Since we have that hybrid model, right? So it's an internet market now. So we can see globe as a market. So next 5 years, we are looking at pan-India, and slowly we are looking at the rest of the world too.
So apart from the kind of the sector you have been catering to at this point of time through your company, what are the opportunities that you see in terms of education space which you might be looking forward to, come forward with an idea in days to come?
In education space is most probably whatever you do, it's sustainable, right? It's sustainable, and it's very important, right? But if you are able to find that dot, then you can illustrate like crazy, right? But like to find that dot is so difficult, right? So you need to look back, you need to look yourself, introspect from yourself, and then start with team, and then you see what's going on, right? And what might be the future, and then you predict, and then you work. You look at the data, at the same time design, right? So in education space, there is a lot of scope, right? So we are not worried about competition. Competition will be there, right? We are only worried about being a peanut company, doing our stuffs well, right? And until now, whatever we have to do, we did our best, right? And Bilingual Vitae, the term phrase itself, we own it. We have an IP for it. So commercially, so we coined, I would say. So we own it. We have an IP rights on it. So whatever we have to do, we are doing it, right? Because in education space, like IP becomes very important, especially like for us, right? We have a blended model, right? Hybrid model. So I mean, if you do in a right way, there is a better scope, right? And competition will always be there. It depends upon customer, right? Until and unless you don't have a solid product coming in the market, the customer will not know, right? What are my options? What will be best? And in education space, it's always about continuous innovation. Otherwise, you die.
How are you reaching out to the customers? Like, since it's very important part, like you need to reach out to the customers, and then do you do just B2C or B2B as well?
It's both B2B and B2C, and it was quite easy for me because I was already into education space, right? Education technology space. So school principals and lots of people, they know me when it comes to hardware and software. So I approach them, and what's new happening, and what can we do best. So especially in Sikkim, I know Wendy Pulga, Mr. Lode, Manjushri Public School. I've been with them, I've worked with them, wonderful entrepreneurs and senior educators. We have like, we have Peter Lavinson Denjumpa, wonderful person, I worked with him, one of the co-founder of Taxi. And we have Sony Vriddhi, I've been with him, wonderful person, right? So these are the people that I've already worked with. and in missionary chain of schools, right?
All right.
Reverend Felix Barreto, and we have Reverend George A. D'Souza and Sylvester, Reverend Reverend Francis Banerjee, and all those Finton Mokhtan and all those people. I've been with them. I'm in touch with them. What best market in the market is there? What can we do best? So it's like quite easy for me. It was not that difficult when it comes to reaching out to the customers, no, and clients. When it comes to B2B, B2C, of course, like digital. No, that's right now we are working. So we learned a lot when it comes to digital B2C.
Okay. So, I mean, like, we'll be winding up the conversation because we don't want to make it that long so that, you know, people, I don't want people to miss out the crux of the conversation, in fact. So, before we wind up, when we talk about the startup and the entrepreneurship, people just find it very fancy, but there's a lot of struggles and challenges. And apart from that, you need to have a lot of learning about what is an entrepreneurship all about. So, there comes the role of an AIS SMUTBI Foundation, under which you have been incubated. So, how has been the, you know, the support, and what are the learnings so far from the incubation center?
Yeah. So actually, I didn't know about Incubator, right, in 2019, up till 2019. So I was actually introduced by a bureaucrat. You need to go there, just check it out. So I met Prof. Tej. Then the first interest came with me because in his table there was something. What's that? He said, it's a patent. I go, wow, it's a patent. Whose patent is that? It's mine. It's yours patent? Because like we need lots of IP. So we felt that okay, fine, we'll get that guidance that we are looking for. And the team was damn good. So we felt okay, now we start, right? So that's how we started. And in the process, because like Incubator, they know what kind of startups they have, what kind of pool of networks they kind of mentors they need, right? I got mentors from T-Hub because they are also partnered with T-Hub. So it depends upon from where they pull in, from where, right? Yeah. So mentors are very important. There is a special relationship that comes in between mentor and startup founder, right? So it's very difficult to describe, but it clicks, right? And that was very important, right? Because like, how do you validate? So making mistakes in market is really expensive. So you come here and how do you validate that? You know it, right? Yeah. So I've burned my fingers there. So how do we do that? So we need those experts who have already done it and who understand the startup space. No? So it was very helpful here. And of course, like we crack jokes. It's not only work, right? We have fun, we crack jokes. We see the other side, social side too. Yeah. So it was like, it was light at the same time. It was like I was grilled from everywhere.
Okay,
that's how stepwise.
This would be the last question for you. You know, you come from the background where people, after completing the education, you know, through a proper institute or premier institute, they want to get into the job and doing all the stuff, exactly. You know, from morning till evening and all. But you chose to become a founder of a startup. Why is that? And then, what would be a message to the viewers of Sikkim Chronicle or an aspiring entrepreneurs who might be watching this podcast?
So for me, my wife says that I'm workaholic, right? For me, like if there is no work, I don't know what to do, right? So so I was exposed first time in Mumbai and in the HO of Tatas, right? I was exposed. That's the first time I saw, oh yeah, this is the corporate world, right? I got interested. That's how the interest came into me. And then I started slowly. So after that, slowly I happened to understand that, okay, I didn't know what was entrepreneurship, but I still like happened to, by default, I was doing it, right? So it just came in from within me. So I just had to cater to that and like evolve myself through it. And it was challenging, of course, though. And being a startup founder, there are, in the journey that I've been from 2014, after my PG, postgraduate, until now, So the experiences that I have experienced, small pockets, the magic moments that I got from the customers, right? It made me feel that it's more not a profession, it's a vocation that I am. It's my life, It's my life into that. So I don't know how to live without that. I don't know, Yogin, how do I explain it? But it's like in simpler terms, like I'm happy in what I'm doing. So I don't know what to do if I don't have this. So that's that kind of relationship that I have with entrepreneurship and the way that I work.
You have taken a risk, there's no doubt about it, but what would be your message to the people who still are very skeptical about taking risk, and then you want to say anything to the viewers, like the message in fact?
Yeah, so there is no outcome. The outcome depends upon what kind of risk you take, right? So it's about choices, right? If you want to be, you want to crack UPSC, it's good, no? But do it in the best way that you can. If you want to become an entrepreneur, it's not compulsory that everyone has to be a tech founder, right? If you feel, you look into yourself, and if you have those kind of background, and you feel that, yeah, I can do something here, I have an idea, so you start doing it, it clicks, then you should do it, of course, right? So it takes time. Because it's all about calculation and metrics, right? It takes time. Today you start, tomorrow you become big, no, right? So I think like young entrepreneurs should first look at themselves, themselves first, and then make a choice, and then you start, because like nothing is easy, right? Then you start. Well, whatever you do in your life, at least do it with your heart and soul.
So anyways, so Dominic, thank you so much. I really had a good conversation about your startup, and this is quite kind of motivating and inspiring, because I hardly see, you know, a few startups from the state of Sikkim who are actually working in the education space. So you're one of them. So congratulations and thank you so much.
Yeah, and I have something for you.
Is it?
Yeah, for you, your entire team, and Sikkim Chronicles, right? If you can have a look.
What is this?
Just like take that. You can take that.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, off, and if you can
just hold
take it off and see.
Okay.
That's how you write Sikkim Chronicles in different languages.
Oh wow, this looks really good.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
The musical.
So what are the kind of languages it's there?
Yeah, it's like Mandarin, and there is like Japanese,
wow.
South Asian, and
Yeah,
Italian, and many more. Okay. Right? You have Nepali, and you have Hindi also. And there you see the dots. Those are music. I literally try to write down in music language, but that's not possible though. But that's interpretation.
Wow, this is what is expert, and in fact the entire.
See, you look at that. You look at it down there.
Okay,
you
this
see
one.
Numbers.
Okay, yeah.
That's binary. Wilbur wrote it for you all, guys. That's how you write Sikkim Chronicles in tech language.
Wow, this looks so good, and thank you so much, Dominic. In fact, this is what the entire startup is actually expert on, and he's gonna cater a lot of people who are actually interested in a lot of languages. Yeah. Right. So thank you so much, Dominic, and I'm keeping it for now. So thank you so much, and I'll surely convey your entire whatever you have done so far for Sikkim Chronicle to my team as well. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
So anyways, so जति पनि Sikkim Chronicle viewers हुनुहुन्छ, he is Mr. Dominic Zangbo, the founder of AIS Bilingual Vitae Pvt.Ltd, and the brand name is Bilingual Vitae. Right, it's a software-based company which is actually working on the education space. So यस्तै अन्य episodes-मा हामी विभिन्न startups-का founders-हरु हामी लिएर अवश्य पनि आउनेछौँ फेरि पनि. Ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to give this conversation entirely in bilingual or in English, because we wanted to reach out to the more audience and the more viewers, and maybe in the next 18 months you might be getting a lot of good investors. So anyways, so thank you so much for watching this podcast. And so this is a startup show which is a proud presentation of AIS SMUTBI Foundation, that is an Atal Incubation Center, Sikkim University Technology Business Incubation Foundation, and has been powered by Sikkim Chronicle. Just the अन्य episode लिएर अवश्य आउनेछौँ. त्यतिन्जेलसम्मको निम्ति news information र analysis को निम्ति Sikkim Chronicle follow गर्दै गर्नुहोला. Thank you so much.